Our first inductee tonight goes in as a team from the Lower Mainland formed in the late 1970s. Now, never before had a team from that part of our province had won the Hardy Cup, which, for those of you who are not aware, was Canada's top hockey prize for Intermediate A hockey. But in the spring of 1980, the Burnaby Lakers took home the championship, and they were able to do it in their own backyard. Take a look at the video screens to learn more about the Burnaby Lakers.
First thing that I think about is what a big family we were.
Just a total team. We were all good friends.
On and off the ice, along with our girlfriends. A lot of guys were married at that time, but the tightest knit team I've ever been a part of.
In 2003, this team was honored by their city as the Burnaby Sports Hall of Fame recognized the accomplishments of the 1979-1980 Lakers. The senior men's hockey team were the defending North Shore League and playoff champs, but that wasn't enough, as they did what no other Lower Mainland team and only two other BC teams did before: win the Canadian Intermediate A Hockey Championship Hardy Cup. The Lakers defeated teams from Burnaby, Prince Rupert, and Port Alberni on their way to a Koi Cup championship. From there, they would defeat Alberta's Innisfail Eagles and Saskatchewan's Asquith Canadians to win the Western Canadian title. Next up were the Eastern-winning Fredericton Capitals, and the Lakers showed their strength as they won 3 games over 3 days in late April at the Pacific Coliseum to capture the 1980 Hardy Cup. Now the province takes notice as the 1979-80 Burnaby Lakers enter the BC Hockey Hall of Fame.
Had a chance to meet a few of these gentlemen last night up at the winery. They're pumped to be here, many of which haven't seen each other in quite some time. Tonight, Hockey Night in Canada broadcaster and a member of the Hall, Jim Houston, is back with us. Want to call Jim up to the stage. He's going to make the presentation for our first inductee into the class of 2018. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome up the members of the 1980 Burnaby Lakers Hardy Cup Championship team, and their spokesperson tonight will be Gary Forbes. Come on up, guys, to the stage.
Okay, we tried to get Jim to do the speech, but I guess I'm stuck. This is just about the biggest dressing room I've ever had to address. Thanks, Jim, and good evening, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to give special acknowledgement to 2 of our players that are no longer with us, defenseman Dave Duck and our trainer, equipment manager, Cyril Cave. Cease is represented by his sons, Brandon and Ron. Now, I know a lot of people didn't know too much about us, so I'll give you a little background. For the group standing here behind me, the journey is almost over. The journey began in 1964, 54 years ago. A group of young men known as the Burnaby Sports Club decided to enter a recreational hockey league. Jack Cooney was a member of the Burnaby Sports Club along with a couple of the rest of us, but he is actually the initiator of this whole thing. And he's the founder. So we can blame him for whatever happens. Now, I am a little nervous. We first started playing in the lowest division of the Greater Vancouver Hockey League. And within 3 years, we had moved from the D division and won the A. We were kind of a competitive young group of guys, and we decided we wanted to increase the competitive level. So our next step was to the Richmond Intermediate Hockey League. The first year in the league was 1971. And a young man by the name of David Poyle was the league scoring champion. So I think a lot of you people would know who David Poyle is. Anyway, there were bumps in the road and a huge learning curve. We were playing some serious hockey now. There was trips to Anchorage, Fairbanks, Reno, Nevada, Boise, Idaho. We did a lot of traveling, and we did that to seek out competition. The next step, when the Richmond League folded a couple years later, was to move into the Pacific Northwest Hockey League. This league featured teams from Port Alberni, Powell River, the North Shore Hurricanes. Richmond put one team in, Portland Buckaroos, that had just left the Western Hockey League. And there was a lot of former pros and a few NHL players that played in the league. And the competition was starting to get harder. But it was another step to seek even a higher competition. There were exhibition games against the Prince George Mohawks, the Quesnel Kangaroos, the Kamloops Cowboys, which were the newly formed BC Senior Hockey League. Actually, we did pretty good against them. I was happy. In 1979, our founder, owner, main fundraiser, and my personal good friend, Jack Cooney, approached me and said due to business reasons, he had to drop out. And he asked me if I would take the team over. I did. I gladly accepted. It was an honor for him to consider me. And with my infectious charm and good sense of humor and good hockey sense, I proceeded to put the 79-80 Lakers together. There were a few holdovers, some recent university graduates from the Thunderbirds, a couple of players who flirted with pro hockey, and we needed a league because the Northwest League had folded because of expenses. So we ended up going to the North Shore Intermediate Hockey League. There were several road trips that year because we had to find competition. The North Shore League was a pretty good league, but we wanted to play better. And I guess that was a competitive nature for us. The decision was made that year that we wanted to go as far as we could. We never really thought we'd get as far as we did, but we knew we were a really tight group of guys that just enjoyed each other, We loved hockey. And I honestly cannot recall one argument or bad discussion that whole year. So the battle of BC was the first step, and that was the Koi Cup. You saw how we went through that, and we lost our very first game 6-0 to Vernon, and we went, wow, what's happening? But we came back. Their coach said this game is over in 2. I said, yeah, the next 2, and that's what it was. I said our average score all year was 8-3. We're going to win 8-3, 8-3. We won 8-3 and 8-4. Not bad. That's the kind of team we had to pull together. After winning the Koi Cup, we advanced to play Innisfail Eagles, and they were very good. They had Freddie Huckle, who was an ex-pro. I think he scored half their goals for him. He was great. But we knocked them off. 4 games, 3 games to 1. 2 of those games went in a double overtime. It was tough and very good competition. The next team up was Asco, Saskatchewan, and that was for the Edmonton Journal Cup of Western Canada. We beat them 3 straight, and we thought we were rolling pretty good. The Hardy Cup was coming to the BC West Coast. You gotta love it. The team we played that year was Fredericton Capitals from New Brunswick, coached by 50-goal scorer Danny Grant of the NHL. And the Pacific Coliseum of Renfrew in Vancouver was our new home. We had ambitious thoughts. Anyway, the unlikely result was finally accomplished. The Burnaby Lakers became the Hardy Cup champions in 3 straight games. After all the celebrating, there were a few bills to pay. Financial support came from many people. It included rental relief through the support of the then college Coliseum manager, the late Mario Carvetta, and the late Emery Barnes, MLA in Victoria. This also included the players digging in their own pocket for $1,000 to try and cover bills that were unsettled. And that was no mean feat, as most of the guys were pretty young guys just starting out in life, some of them just married and everything else. That's how much we love the game. And somebody said, why do you do this? And I said, and it was answered, not by me, because we do love the game. And there's no doubt about it. "38 years later, here we are today. Induction into the BC Hockey Sports Hall of Fame. Wow. Gentlemen, the journey we started is complete. We went all the way. The entire Burnaby Lakers organization would like to congratulate fellow inductees, Willie Mitchell, Scott Hannon, Jerry Sillers, who was a very good player in our league at one time, on their induction to the BC Sports Hockey Hall of Fame. I consider myself to be a very lucky man. 18 years of very competitive amateur hockey, 34 years of Laker old-timers, going to tournaments, having fun. This has created a very large family of lifelong friends, teammates, players, management partners, and my good friend Jack Cooney, who shared my love of hockey and the Burnaby Lakers. I would also like to thank our greatest fans, our wives and girlfriends. They supported us and understood our need to play this game. Without their support, we would never have reached where we are now today. From the bottom of my heart, ladies, thank you very much. We would also like to thank the selection committee for bestowing this great honor on us. And thank you again, everyone, and I hope you enjoy the evening like we're going to.